Hey y'all, welcome back to Convos with Bree. This is episode 15. 15, y'all, 1 5. And today I want to talk a bit about when we're working through energy and we're healing things that have happened with other people. And the reason I want to talk about this is because my first books, The Accident, How to Shake the Shit Out of Your Life, and my second book, Young Writer's Day, Fragile Minds and the Adults That Mold Them, were very, very healing for me. They helped me feel like I could get my feet on the ground because I just got to admit what happened and what I learned and who I became going through these experiences. And being able to talk about them so freely and so honestly changed me. It allowed me to accept that it happened and let it off of my body. I didn't have to keep hauling it around anymore. And both books were pretty hard because my relationships with the people that I wrote about were such a roller coaster. They had been so wonderful and then so tumultuous, and then some of them repaired, and others just continued to keep space, keep distance, and be non existent. And one thing about writing, especially when you don't just write for yourself, when you write through what you're feeling, you know that those feelings, the emotion behind it, will not remain the same. And that can be really tricky, especially when you're trying to write about a specific relationship. It can be very difficult to write about a relationship that you cannot generalize. It's important to know why these characters have the hold they do on each other. But when you write from personal experience, it can be very difficult because you never, well, at least for me, I never want to paint somebody in a bad light when somebody knows who the actual person is. These aren't just characters in a book. And it's why I've been leaning towards writing and the rest of my writing being more away from personal experience and going more into characters and scripts. However, that is not easy for me to do. And it carries this like falseness over it. And I've been struggling with bridging that gap. So I'm understanding that there are things that I am going to write that need to remain my current style of writing. And then there are other things that I will write that will be characters, and it is not exact experiences. It's not always my own personal experiences. It's a blend of a lot of lives that have come together and a lot of what I have just heard and felt and seen. And I tripped myself up a lot trying to think that I had to be in one category. And I've done this my entire life where I feel like I need to fit in a box. So I try to make myself able to fit in areas that I was just never going to be able to fit into. So it's been a process, but I have a lot of people that reach out to me and they want to know how they can write through what they're feeling without tearing down another person. If you have not read my first books, they are available on Amazon. You can find them on my website, convoswithbree.com. Bree, BREE, and that's just .com, convoswithbree.com. They are on there. It'll take you right to the Amazon link. The blog that I write, I've taken a bit of a hiatus from it to start this project up and just to get a sense of who's coming to life right now in the silence from my fingers. Who is or what is ready to flow. And I have quite a few things that I have previously worked on that I did not feel comfortable enough in the moment to share. And I am thinking it's time for those to come to life. So I will be working on those in the next couple of weeks, days, whatever it looks like. But you can head over to the blog, and right now you will see that the blog is like my books. It's like short stories, personal experiences, firsthand, what I've been through, what I've seen, what I've felt, all of it. And I don't think that I could ever fully stop writing in that style because I really enjoy the way that I've been able to do it. And I've really perfected this growing into my writing as an author, as a writer. I've really come a long way. And not having to make up names or not have to spin the truth away to protect somebody. I can let the truth be there. And I can speak on my own experience the way that I need to speak on it. And this was big for me for a long time because I've mentioned before, I have some pretty ingrained people-pleasing tendencies because I don't like to hurt anyone. I don't like anyone to feel unnecessary hurt. And I struggled with writing a few stories, and I actually had a different element in book 2. And when I write my books, when I write the blogs, I have this process where, if it's especially with the books, I write it from different standpoints. So I typically start with either really sad or really angry, and I get it all out. I use names if I want to. I say exactly who it was that hurt me, exactly what they did, exactly how bad it hurt. And I get it all out. And then I will read the book out loud to Marco when it is done. And it's beautiful. We process through the whole book. We process through how I felt, how he feels, where it takes him, what it's bringing up for him, what it let go of for me, what it made me aware of, all of these things. And then I rewrite it, I edit it, and I smooth it. I take out the names. I typically, if I've written from anger, then this is where I write from grief. This is where I cry a lot of tears. Anger, I cry tears with the angry version also, but it's like frustration tears. It is the feelings of powerlessness, of hopelessness, of all of these things come through. When I write the grief version, I mourn for this version of who I was. I mourn for all of us, for what we went through, for how we got there, for how we responded, for choosing these paths. I grieve the entirety of it. And something so beautiful and so magical happens. I just am able to let it all go. All the anger, all the sadness, all this heavy, heavy, heavy energy that I have been dragging around for years, for huge pieces of my life. I'm able to let them go. And then I have the version of the book that I want, the one that is enough anger and enough grief for the reader to empathize with my story, to go to their own place that they've felt these similar feelings. But it's not like taking them out entirely back to those feelings. It's keeping them grounded enough to understand that they are reading a story about something else while feeling their own feelings that have been trapped. And by the time they get to the end of the book, which the end of my books are the lessons, who I became, what I see differently, what I do differently, how I handle things, how I've rerouted my entire perspective of others, of these situations, and my entire perception of myself. And by the time the reader gets there, they're ready. They're ready to show up differently. They're ready to meet themselves differently. They're ready to have a different understanding, different perspective, a different perception. They're ready to do it with me a lot more than they would have been had I put out just the angry version or just the sad version. And those books feel beautiful to me. And I write them as the person I was when I was experiencing them. So I allow myself to fully go back to who I was while I was in that experience. And then when I'm editing, I am bridging the gap between who I was with where I went and who I became and where I am now. And it's such a beautiful process for me. It really allows me as well to see just how far I've come and just how much I've truly learned and evolved. And that is why I can pick these books up any day of the week, any time of day. And if I start flipping through them, it's really hard for me to put it back down because they're great. They're magic. They are exactly what I needed them to be, what I desired them to be. They are honestly, and with what Marco did, because Marco made the books into a book. I've never had a problem writing, but then when it's time to make it actionable, like make it something that other people can actually read, I would just freeze. And all of my fear would keep me from turning it into a book and learning what I needed to learn. But after I read him the final copy, he knew it was done and he could see the cover in his brain and he put them together and they're everything I wanted. And y'all, when I tell somebody what I want, it is not a clear picture. It's a whole bunch of things that kind of make me think of what I want, but I honestly don't know how to put them all together. And somehow Marco is able to take those thoughts, those jumbled thoughts and ideas, and know exactly how to bring to life a cover and the binding, the back, all of it, the book shell that is better than anything I ever could have dreamed up. They're soft. They feel good in my hands. I absolutely love them. I love everything about them. I love that he helps me do this. I love how involved in the process he would get, how excited he was to bring this dream into fruition for me, to bring to life these ideas and to put the most perfect cover on what he views the most perfect book. And he did that twice. And he will do that as many times as I say, hey, I've got something. And when they flow, they flow. And I allow it. A lot of my writing has just been for me to process. A lot of my writing, I wasn't ready to face my fears yet. I wasn't ready to put them anywhere else but on the computer for me. And now I'm at a point where I'm starting to look back at a lot of my work and wow, I have gold in there that's just waiting for me to be brave enough to push go. And that's why I'm here doing this visibility challenge and talking about these things, because all I want is to make somebody else, if they stumble upon this or if somebody is intentionally watching these videos, I want them to get things out of it that help them press go, that help them leap and try out these fears and dreams and just have these moments like I'm having where they say, wow, I'm so freaking glad I did this. That's why I do everything. That's why I never quit. That is why I face the bullies. That is why I continue to strive to do better and be better and learn more and grow and evolve and chase the perspective and chase the path that other people aren't chasing. I don't want the same views as everyone else unless people start thinking more like this. I want the expansive thoughts. I want the things that bridge us together, not burn it down. I am obsessed with empathy and kindness and clarity, good communication, all the things that we really, really, truly want. And we're all capable of more of that right from within. So that's why I don't burn people in my books. That's why I don't use names or discuss after the fact who it actually was, because it's not just this one person that behaves this way. There's so many people that I see this same type of energy on. Yes, I'm writing about one experience. Yes, I'm writing about specific people, but it's just because that was something that I experienced. And it's a story that I know will bridge huge gaps between others, because all of us have experienced things like this. And all of us have experienced things that make us fear or make us unable to align our nervous system or our beliefs, because we do fear these things. And the more that we can find ways to bridge the gap, the better. And that's what I do with my writing. That's what I'm doing with this podcast. That's what I'm doing with my life. I'm bridging the gaps. I'm finding the road less traveled, the one that is in desperate need of kindness and empathy and gratitude and all the beauty that I can bring. So today I challenge you to remind yourself that these emotions that you feel when you are in it, when you're triggered, when you're defensive, they are fleeting. They will not stay. Let's look for a more beautiful opportunity. We're missing opportunities that are right in front of our face because we're so busy giving all of our attention to what we don't like, what we don't want, what's wrong, what feels bad, what feels hurtful. We're looking for all the ways that that could be what's really happening. Let's look for the more beautiful path. Let's look for more empathy and understanding. Let's look for our own inner calm, our own inner peace, and let's pick the path that leads to more of that. Nothing that is meant for you will miss you. We don't have to take things so seriously. Let's take a breath. Let's be here. now. And let's change what we're looking for. Let's deepen this beautiful life we're living.